Yo, what up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Live with Coach RT3. This week's guest, we have Venus Lau, Venus to be Fab on Instagram. Some of you may know her from some of her movement work. VenusFit is her YouTube channel, and she's definitely an amazing mover. So I'm really excited to have her joining us today. And we're going to talk about everything from movement culture to her experiences and some of the programs and things that she's offering down in Southern California in Santa Monica. Hey.
What's up? What's cracking?
Just sharing you to a couple of other pages so everybody can catch it nice and live and raw and fresh. Welcome.
Thanks.
I was just giving everybody some feedback, some background about who you are and what you do, but it was quite generic actually, and
Thanks.
it's
Thank you
best
very
that
much.
it's best that we just wait and let you tell people exactly who you are, as opposed to me trying to summarize everything. So, without further ado, everyone, this is Venus. Venus.
Hello.
So
Just trying to figure out how to get on this Facebook Live. I have never been on a Facebook Live video ever. So
I know, and it's an ordeal for most people who get on. So now you, outside of a couple of other people, you are one of the fastest people to make this actually connect. We've had a couple where it's taken us quite a bit of time to sort it out, from phones being turned the wrong way and all types of different things. So,
really?
and then early on, we didn't realize that you couldn't go from computer to phone, and so that was also pretty weird. So live and learn. We weren't the latest.
So yeah, I am here chilling in my apartment in Los Angeles. It is cold for us. I'm sure the rest of America is freezing their asses off. But for me, it's cold and I don't like it.
Well, I mean, I just got back from New York, and I thought it would be warmer when I arrived here in San Francisco, and it's actually about the same temperature. So
Oh, really? What's the temperature in
I
San
was quite disappointed. It was like 38 this morning, 36, 38 degrees this morning. And I think now I think it rose up to about 60 midday, but now it's heading back the other direction. So
Yeah.
needless to say, pretty cold. So I just wanted to give viewers an opportunity to get to know, who you are and what you're about. And if you could just start by kind of giving us an idea of, how you basically started out in fitness, like what brought you to fitness, and then, what brought you from those initial stages of fitness into, what you're doing now.
Right. My story actually, I'm originally from Texas. Most people don't realize that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so when people ask me about places like local places and like around LA or cities around LA, I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm even though I've lived here now for like 14 years, I'm still very much like a tourist in my own city. And so um, people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm from I don't know, Valencia." I'm like, I've never been there. Like I kind of know where it is now, but I've never been there. So
Mhm.
originally I'm from Texas, small town in Texas called San Angelo. And growing up, sports and anything creative, like I love drawing, I love telling stories and all that stuff, was my wheelhouse. And I was an athlete my entire life, and golf and swimming and soccer were probably my main big sports growing up. And like many families, my parents were wanting me to focus in on one specific sport, specifically golf. So that's what I did. And my parents were grooming me to play uh, professional golf. I was being sent
Mm-hmm.
to Orlando, Florida, 4 to 6 times a year, and I would study with this guy who his name was Phil Ritson. I also studied with Rena Ritson, and they were two people who they mentored David Ledbetter. So anyone in the golf world knows the name David Ledbetter. And I also learned from Butch Harmon, Dick Harmon, the guys who were notable for training Tiger Woods and a lot of other people. And so golf was a really big part of my background. Not also swimming and many other sports, but that was a sport I focused on growing up. And from there, I went to Baylor University. I got a scholarship. They were a ranked Division I school, and so that was kind of like my path to, thinking that I was going to be playing professional golf. And I got to play with amazing golfers. Had some of the best training and the best coaches in the world. Um, I was on the same team as Jimmy Walker, who is now ranked in like, I don't know, he's like the top 5 of the PGA Tour. Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And but I just, I think that it was a thing that I did because I didn't know what else to do. I just pretty much did what my parents wanted me to do. So
Mm-hmm.
for me to have my own voice in fitness was a thing that I didn't really develop until I got older. So after that, um, I my dad had gotten cancer, and he died of lung cancer when I was 21. And then my mom was diagnosed with cancer a year later, and she died when I was 25.
Wow.
And so there was a lot of growth there that I had to go through. And um, it was almost like after my parents died, it was almost like it was almost like I was a teenager again, and
Mm.
like I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So at the time, I had the creative bug, and so I moved out to LA to be a comedy writer with my best friend. And we moved out to LA and pursuing our dreams of Hollywood. We're like, all right, let's do this. And so we came out here and we were writers and we had some successes and we optioned a script to a major studio and we worked on some pretty big projects and then eventually I did on-camera work. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually was really shy back in the day. I'm not shy now, but but I used to be really shy. So on-camera work was something I just did it to be a better writer. I purely
Uh-huh.
was like, I want to be a better writer. I have to understand the process. So I'm going to get into some acting classes. And so I took a whole bunch of acting classes and stuff. And I actually ended up realizing that I liked to be on camera.
Mm.
Um, so then at the time I was looking for a job that could give me more freedom. And I had the corporate jobs. I've been a pharmaceutical sales rep. I've worked in marketing. I've been an assistant at entertainment companies. I've been a waitress. I've been a bartender, And so at the time, I just was looking for a job that gave me more freedom. And my
Right.
friend was like, "You should be a personal trainer." I was like, "What? No." I was such a dick about it. And I was like, "I have a college degree. Like, I'm not gonna be a personal trainer. I was a Division I athlete. Like, I'm not gonna be a trainer. It's just not something I ever thought I would do. And
Right.
she was like, "Well, Venus, people think you're a trainer already. It'd probably be an easy job for you." I was like, "Okay, yeah." And because I was really diligent about working out. From the time I was 13 years old, I've worked out 3 times plus a week. It's just something I've always done. It's just been a discipline of mine. And I think I think I found a home with that, and it was my way of expressing myself without really knowing it as a kid. And, you know, I think just physical expression is a really big deal. So anyways, fast forward, I was like, okay, I'll be a trainer. 6 months later, I'm a trainer. I got my NASM certification, super simple. And then I started working at Equinox. And um, at Equinox, I started really appreciating more because they are really big on continuing education. I think it's a really great place for people to start, especially new trainers, because it really gave me a nice footing into the fitness world. And it really, Equinox, they're good about leading you in the right direction as far as like doing continuing education. And not everybody does it,
Hmm.
but you know, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it good, and I want to do it well, and I want to do the best that I can. So
Right.
that's what I really appreciated about Equinox. And then after I was there for about 7, 8 months, I left and I started my own business. And because like if I do anything, I will put my all in it. And I had full time. I was full time at Equinox within like 2.5, 3 months. And I
Hmm.
immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna go start my own business. And so since then, I've had my own business for now 10 years. And
Wow. Okay.
so just been doing one-on-one training. But what I love to do every year is I like to make sure I take anywhere between 4 and 6 certifications or workshops. And every year I'm always trying to re-educate myself because if there's anything I've learned, there's a lot of humbling in fitness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so as far as like now my movement is concerned, um, I did not I was not a mover before. I was a gym rat. I loved to lift
Right.
weights. I loved hit training. You know, I was that person. And
Right.
I used to say that yoga was for pussies and it's for lazy people. Now I have my yoga teacher certification and I love yoga. I go to yoga 3 to 5 times a week. I'm also a movement coach, and as you know, and as you are, we are both animal flow instructors. Um, and I love animal flow, and it's really changed how I
Quite,
see movement.
quite as kept. I'm actually not an animal flow instructor.
You're not? I thought you were.
You know what? I never, and maybe this is something I'll talk to Chris Flo about, because we're supposed to talk in a little bit, in a couple of weeks. But we need to talk about like test out.
Uh, you haven't tested out? Like seriously,
No, I have. I mean,
I'm gonna get
I
on your
just
ass
get
about
like
that.
sending videos, like taking an actual video of me doing instructional stuff. I know I do it all the time, right?
Yeah,
But
you do it all the time. You might as well just do the video.
right.
Like seriously, like if you
I
don't
might as
do it
well.
tomorrow, I'm gonna be on your ass about it. Like that's so
Tomorrow's Black
simple
Panther
and
Day,
easy.
so I mean, a lot of people are gonna be upset by this too because I haven't seen Black Panther yet, and tomorrow's Black Panther Day for me and my wife.
Dude,
So
come on.
tomorrow's not happening either, unfortunately.
All right, Friday, I'm calling you and I'm be like, "Did you film it yet?"
All right, I'm gonna try.
No, try, just do.
I actually filmed the part where I'm supposed to instruct someone else. So I actually have that somewhere.
Oh my
Um,
God. Okay.
but I don't have myself doing stuff. So yes, everybody, whole world out there,
Uh,
I've been moving around
mm-hmm.
and I'm not an animal flow instructor. But I
So
never said I was though. So
I know, but you know what it's like. Everyone thinks they're a trainer now on social media, you know?
yeah,
And then and they think they watch videos and they can like teach it, and it's like no, just I know you've taken the course.
yeah,
So anyone watching, he's taken the course. He just hasn't sent in his test out video, which he definitely is qualified to do. He's just been too lazy. But
yeah,
but
busy.
no, lazy. So someone just asked, "What is animal flow?"
Yeah,
How?
that's my cousin. He can
Ah,
wait. No, I'm
Alex
sorry. Go
Miller,
ahead.
you know what animal flow is.
Go ahead.
So anyone who doesn't know
You can
animal flow,
ask him.
uh, Animal Flow is first, it's created by Mike Fitch. He is my mentor. Amazing guy. He's going to be in LA actually in the next couple of weeks teaching a level 1 course as well as level 2 and advanced design flow. So I highly recommend anyone interested to come down and take it, especially from the master himself, Mike Fitch. He's amazing. He's a great guy. He's taught me so much about movement. So Animal Flow is created by Mike, and it's based on gymnastics, parkour, hand balancing, and breakdancing. Those are, look at my beautiful nails. Those are the things that he developed it on. And a lot of people will say it looks like capoeira or martial arts or dance, or even yoga, but those are the 4 things that he studied very seriously and developed Animal Flow from. And in my mind, movement is movement, and I highly respect what he has created because it is a beautiful art. And how he designed it is to help everyone to have a system to learn how to move in a quadrupedal locomotive motion. Would you add to that description?
Yeah, I mean, I find it to be a language, right? Like I think the one thing I gained from it, or I got from it, was that there's a lot of movement out there and there's a lot of different things you can do, and I've taken a lot of different things, and it's really cool to like mash it all up together. Um, but it's like Animal Flow in of itself is a language you can communicate with other people who speak Animal Flow, and you can move within those constructs, right?
Yeah.
I think there's so many
Amazing
different
the
things.
created.
What's that?
I said it's amazing the community that it's created.
Yeah, it's created a huge community, and even a peripheral community, I feel, outside of it, who are like maybe enthusiasts, who have like DVDs or whatnot, and want to, kind of see how other people are moving and doing things as well. And so I think social media is, like you said, has kind of bridged the gap between instructors and enthusiasts, which is really cool as well. So yeah, I mean, I really like it for that reason. That it
Hmm.
kind of gives you a structure, a framework to kind of build your movement practice from.
Yeah, 100%. What I like about it is it's very accessible to everyone. I have taught Animal Flow to kids. I've taught it to people recovering from surgery. I've taught it to actors who just want to get really lean and cut. And I've taught it to the elderly, who they didn't have a way of moving, and I just modified certain movements. And it's amazing how much neuromuscular connectivity happens with that, with all the locomotive movements, and how much they're actually learning, like on a neural connectivity level, not just, oh, they're getting in better shape, but they
Yeah.
start to think faster, they start to move faster, and they start to react faster, and it's just amazing, to see the results of that. And I think that's what
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
missing.
yeah, yeah, I mean, it kind of comes back to our most primitive of movements, right? Like we started on the floor, we started on the ground, and then, like I tell everyone, when I'm teaching any type of movement or I'm teaching any type of strength and conditioning, I'm like, we started crawling, we started on our stomachs, on our backs, rolling, and we couldn't, have access to these patterns, and then we crawled, and then we looked at everybody else and we're like, hey, those people are walking around. I think I should be walking around too. And
Right.
and we moved to walking, but then we forgot what got us there,
Right.
you
And
know.
then we
And
think, oh, we're supposed to just be good at like doing a squat to a press when there's 16 movement patterns that come before even standing up and walking, you know.
right,
And a lot of people forget that. And then when they bend over to pick something up and they hurt their back, they're like, oh, why, oh, I don't know why I did that. That's such a fluke. And when it's not a fluke at
right,
all, they don't train in that position. So they're
right.
weak in that position, and they don't see that it's just really going back to basics, and you can get in incredible shape doing that. you know,
Yep. Get down on the floor.
getting down on the floor.
Well, I wanted to ask you, so this kind of goes back to, I was just going to kind of go back to something you said earlier, because I find it really interesting. I find it really fascinating. And having grown up in San Francisco and having,
Sorry, I'm making all these noises.
you know, having um, a large community of Asian American and going to school. My high school was, I think, like 50, 60%, Asian. And so, one of the things that often, you kind of see the demands placed on, those students growing up
Hmm.
and the pressures. And I want to get back to like your parents and their desire for you to be a certain way and the pressures that were put on you, and then the feelings of not being able to kind of choose your own path. Like,
Hmm.
what, you know, how did that like help you or hinder you, or, how did that make you who you are
Well, I mean, I
today?
think at the end of the day, every one of our experiences helps us and can also put a negative imprint on us, depending on what we choose to do with it, right? And growing up, my parents put a lot of pressure on me, and so I got a lot of different kind of feedback. I got a feedback of, oh, you're so great and you should be amazing and you're awesome and you have all these skills, to, oh, you just let us down. Instead of getting first place, you got second place, and so there's
Right.
a lot of that psychology. And even as an adult, I'm still going through that and still having to learn how to understand myself on those different levels, and especially as a coach
Mm-hmm.
myself, and really being empathetic, but also being supportive and pushing my clients. So it's this balance. And yes, my parents were immigrants. They were from China, and they had a very hard upbringing. And even as a child, I knew that. And as a child, I was like, oh, my parents just don't know any better. I knew as a kid, my parents were doing the best that they could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was rough because, you know, you know, white kids, they get grounded. Asian kids, we get yelled at, and sometimes slapped, and sometimes like blackmailed, and like, so there's
Oh
a lot,
man.
you know. So, and I remember getting in trouble in high school with my friends, and we all got in trouble for staying out late and getting drunk. And the moms had a meeting, and my friend was like, oh man, the moms are having a meeting. They're all going to meet back at our place today. And I hadn't seen my mom all day, so I was like, oh shit, so much trouble. So I show up, and all the moms are there, but my mom's not there. And the moms go, Venus, we just want you to know that we didn't invite your mother because we know how she can be, but we want you to know we're very disappointed in you. So that's how scary my mom was.
What?
To where like the other moms were like, we don't want Venus to die, so we're not gonna invite her.
Right.
But
What?
so yeah. So there's a little bit of pressure on it. So uh so yeah, so there's a little bit of pressure on me, and I made good grades. I went to the best school, I had the right friends. And yes, it was very hard to have my own path. And I've always said, and it sounds really weird, but losing my parents was the worst thing to happen to me, and it was also the best thing to happen to me. And I know that sounds really weird to say. It sounds really morbid and odd.
Yeah.
But I've had a long time to overcome that. It's been over 10 years now since both my parents have passed away. So, I've gone through the emotions of a lot of that. And I luckily, before my parents passed away, was able to have moments with them where they turned to me and they said, I used to get mad about ABC or whatnot, and that's not the meaning of life. And like weeks before they died, I had really intelligent and deep emotional conversations with my parents
Mm-hmm.
where they were like, I am so sorry that I did not show you this. Or, you know, I'm sorry that I used to get mad about this. And they would, we had such deep conversations that it was like I had such great closure before they passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most amazing things my dad said to me before he passed, um, he was in hospice, and I was sitting there with him, and I said, "Dad, I'm not ready for you to die." And he said, "You know what? Whether I die today, tomorrow, next year, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, you're never going to be ready for me to die, and it's just going to happen. It's part of life, and you're going to die too." And so you need to live this life the best you can. And I didn't, I mean, I got it then, but I was only 21, you know, I didn't really,
Right.
really get it until I was in my 30s. And I, you know, I had a lot of struggles and I went through a lot of dark times. And the same with my mother. My mother was a firecracker. You know, I just told you the story about how the other moms were scared of her. But towards the end of her life, she was like, you know, I used to get mad all the time and it's just not worth it. And so it's interesting. You know, I had a lot of really interesting closure, and it has really impacted on what I see as important in life. And as far as like
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing now with my life, like I know I'm living my life purpose, and I love helping people with their bodies. I love, and not in a aesthetic way. Like yes, you'll
Right.
weight, yes, you'll feel great, but really it's the connection, and that's what
Yeah.
fitness is connection to themselves, connection to their mind, connection to their soul. And that's what creates healthy bodies.
Yeah.
They're all
Absolutely.
the same.
I agree. I just remember, I still use the quote that, that day when we were at the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco, kind of playing around, and you were like, the breath is the symphony, or the body is the symphony, and then you were like, the breath is and I'm like, conductor, like that's it, and I
Yes.
was like, that's the
I kept saying
perfect quote. So I'm,
composer. I kept saying composer. I was like, no,
yeah,
that's not right. I was like, what's the guy that does the thing
you're
with
like,
his
that's not
hands?
right.
The breath. Yes.
I'm like, conductor. Uh, that's been an awesome thing for me to kind of reflect on a regular basis, and also share with my clients, regardless of what we're doing. Like every steel mace workshop I do, that becomes a part of it, and I'm always like, and Venus says, and so I'm like, um, and if you don't know who she is, go over there and check her out, because I'm like, it's that single phrase has kind of helped me with so much of my movement practice. Um, because yeah, we always think about breathing and things like that, but when you really frame it in that way, it kind of all makes so much more sense as to how, we achieve, fluidity, sharpness, rigidity, stiffness, all of those different aspects kind
Mhm.
of come through, the
Right.
breath in some way.
Right. A lot of, I get DMs a lot, and people are like, you know, how do you make your moves so smooth? And I'm like, it's not a secret. I put it in the captions. Connect to your breath. That is
People
how.
aren't reading that.
They're
You
not
know
reading
that.
it. They're not
You
reading it.
know they're not reading
And
those captions.
but it's very simple. It's so simple that it's complex. It's so simple that that's the hardest thing for people to do, is to actually pay
Hmm.
attention to the breath, because we can go days without water. We can go days without food. We can only go a few minutes without our breath, and then we die. Without your breath, we die. And
Right.
so if, yes, nobody reads anymore, Quincy. I agree. um, but you know, I think it's so imperative that we connect to our breath. And it's not only an exercise. Like I tell my clients all the time, especially the ones who have high power jobs who are always in like crazy meetings, hey, in the middle of your meeting, take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose, and you can be more present with people and you won't react so much. And and that's the thing, like I hope I can influence people to not just, take care of their bodies in a fitness way, but take care of their bodies and their mind and their soul in their daily life. The rest of the 23 hours, let's assume we're working out an hour a day, but I like to always say that your workout should support the rest of the 24 hours of your day. And I think breath is, if you could master your breath, you've already won half the battle. I would even say that
Right.
it's even winning like the diet battle, like how many people that we know are like, oh, I eat perfect, and maybe they don't, maybe they're lying a little bit, but but in general, like if people are eating okay, right? But if you can't master your breath and you can't master your thoughts, like forget, it doesn't matter what your diet and your workout program is, because it's all connected.
Yeah. I mean, not to get too extremely philosophical, but it's like, breathing and the nervous system and stress and all those things. Like breathing has an impact on stress, right? So if you're a stress related eater, then you could find a way to like mitigate or at least bring that stress level down through breathing, right?
Right.
I say that works for everybody, but like you said, mastery of that, or at least trying to utilize that as a method, as a methodology, could be a useful tool for people to have kind of in their back pocket.
Oh, I mean, and you can put it anywhere.
Yeah.
People think
Yeah,
they
I
can
mean,
like zen out and like meditate in quiet. You don't. You can do it anywhere,
right.
in any place. I do it when I'm driving with my eyes open.
Right. Yeah, I think you especially have to do it while you're driving because you're in LA and LA traffic is horrendous.
Oh my God, the traffic.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, if you don't live
deep
within a
breaths are
5 mile
mandatory.
radius of me, the chances of us being friends is very like not likely. But yeah, you're in San Francisco. San Francisco, it's
Um,
kind of crazy up there, right? The traffic? No,
sorry, I think
I don't know. When I was in San
traffic is crazy in certain parts. Like
Francisco,
there's certain spots that are terrible. But in general, traffic isn't. I mean, the 405 is just probably the worst like stretch of highway outside of Thailand to me. So,
I have not been. I would like to go there. Well, it's beautiful.
it's a wonderful place.
And then you hear
It's a wonderful
bugs.
place.
Kind of, I turn into like oh, I don't know about that.
You hear about the what? Sorry,
The bugs.
the bugs. Bugs are all right. Bugs are all right.
People think I'm so
So,
tough, and I'm like, oh, I'm so tough. And then I see bugs. I'm like, ah, get away.
but you've been to Bali though, right?
No, I was gonna go to
No.
the Animal Flow retreat this year and
Mhm.
ended up did not go. I had too many things on my plate. So yeah,
Okay.
been busy doing a lot of different things. Been putting together a program and super excited.
Hmm.
There's just a lot of computer work attached to it. That's not as fun as moving. Like I could literally just work out all day long and enjoy it. Obviously, I need my breaks. So, my endurance isn't like that crazy high. But yeah, I could just move all day long. And so putting together a program has been a challenge for me to actually sit down to do that work, you know? So it's just one of those things where I have to sit and actually tell myself, okay, I know I'm going to be dedicating the next couple hours to writing, which is interesting and
Hmm.
ironic because I moved out to LA to be a writer. I think one of my best friends, Rachel, she's watching right now. She's actually who I moved out to LA to write with.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your current like VenusFit program that you're running?
Okay, cool. So my program is VenusFit. It's strength and flow, and
Hmm.
what I'm sharing is a combination of animal flow, yoga, primal movement, developmental movement patterns, and some calisthenics. And it's a program that I designed because I didn't feel like there was a program out there like it, and I wanted to create a program that I would actually do.
Hmm.
And in the program, it starts with breath work, and after breath work, there's a warm up, and then I drill 6 exercises, and then we flow the 6 exercises for a few minutes, and then we cool down with breath work.
Hmm.
And so it's like this mix mash of things that I really believe in, which is creating an attention, um, understanding how to connect to the breath, drilling movements so our body understands them, and then flowing them, and then cooling down with breath work again. And I think that what I the kind of impact I want to make is to help people connect to their bodies, um,
Hmm.
on a level that is more than just aesthetics. And people are going to be like, "Am I going to lose weight on this program?" Yes. There's no way someone won't lose weight. In fact, it's kind of hilarious. From video one to the last video, my body gets leaner. I get more and more cut. Because it took me a few months to actually film the program because the program
Oh,
is
wow.
total follow along. So it's not like just me like sampling an exercise and saying you go do it now. Literally, the user will push play and they work out with me the entire time. They don't have to push pause or anything. I mean, if
Hmm.
they have to rest, I always say, hey, if you have to rest, push pause. But other than that, like they're working out with me the entire time, and so it's a total
Hmm.
follow workout. Um, it was definitely the harder way to put a workout together, and my next program is going to be a little more simplified because it took a very long time to put this together. But I'm
Yeah.
really excited about it. And any mistakes that I made for anyone watching, that's what the Facebook live videos are going to be for. I'll have a private Facebook page for those who buy it. And, every
Hmm.
week I'll be going in there, answering questions and, filming myself answering people's questions and being like, okay, you're right. I kind of fucked up on this part of the program. So this is how I'm going to fix it. And so it's all a learning curve. It's all a learning process. But, I really do want to help people. Someone
Hmm.
asked, I've been checking out your flow challenges. Is your program along those lines? Yes, Ed, it is. My program is all about helping people find their flow. And I am very much going to be developing different drills for that. And like I said, it's a combination of animal flow, yoga, primal movement, developmental movement, calisthenics. Um, so,
Hmm.
and Lena, what's up, girl? Yes, connecting to my breath is something I struggle with a lot. Uh, the simplest way to connect to your breath is just breathing as simply as you can in and out of your nose, as softly as you can, and as full as you can. And it's simple. There's a million breath work techniques out there, and I've studied a few, but I always say the simpler the better. And I highly recommend a lot of people to buy the book Oxygen Advantage. It's a really great way to understand how our body takes in breath and transfers oxygen into energy and all that source. I am going to be launching my program in the next month. The editor is still working on it, and as I said, any mess ups of the program will be fixed in my Facebook group chats. but but yes, it will be launching in a month. I'm also going to be launching a free 1 week challenge that is only available for people who are subscribing to VenusFit. So subscribe to VenusFit, and if you do that, you also get a free flow workout. It's a 6-piece mix flow. And then after that, I'm also working on a kettlebell body weight program with the one and only Marcus Martinez, master guru flow kettlebell coach for On It. So excited about that. And then I need to hook up with you. Oh my God, are you totally like, I feel like I'm just talking. Like,
it's your show. It's
my
all
show.
your show.
Welcome to the Venus Lao Show, guys. I would love to ask
I'm
Richard
sitting here
some
like
questions. And
I'm sitting here like my screen is just frozen and nothing's coming through.
Really?
And I'm just like, go right on ahead. Whatever's happening is happening.
You can't hear me? Hello?
And I can now.
I'd like to ask you about
I can now, but it's still.
You. There's a coffee filter, you know, it's organic coffee. I actually have
There's all types of stuff going on behind filters. Me. You know, these here?
Those there?
Yeah, if you care, I actually got these in London.
Oh,
I got those
London.
Whole Foods in London, yeah. Whole Foods in London. That's awesome. I honestly try. I mean, I don't like shopping at Whole Foods. I have a lot of reasons why. But I was in between a rock and a hard place in London.
I'm excited. This summer, I'm going to be also traveling to Sweden to teach a workshop. So I'm super excited about that. Never been to Sweden. Have you been to Stockholm, Sweden?
I haven't been, but I'm anticipating probably going later this year. So that should be fun. But yeah, I mean, it's great to see like the movement community growing and all these different collaborations going on, collaborative efforts going on. Hopefully I can, manage to pin you down and demand that we collaborate on some stuff. Anyway, I'm going to ask you like one other question and then you can just kind of freestyle on that. And so I noticed you did some photo shoots both this year and last year. And I think one of them had to do with like all shapes, like an all shapes sort of message. And, I just wanted to hear more about, what that entailed.
That photo shoot specifically was for Swimsuits for All, where I was modeling with Ashley Graham. And it was all about the message of loving your body. And what I really like about that brand and what was really cool about that photo shoot is that they were really trying to recruit people of different body styles. And I'm an athletic body style. Ashley Graham is a supermodel, but she's a plus size supermodel. Jillian is she's older, but she's been modeling for years, and she's more of the shape of a typical model, much thinner and tall. And what was so great about that was the synergy of the shoot was all about just celebrating women and just being like, hey, we're all beautiful and we all deserve to wear a sexy swimsuit. And I thought that was really great. And one of the things that they tagged me in, which was cool, I was doing a handstand on the photo shoot because I can't ever sit still. And they tagged me on this thing on Instagram and it said, strong like a girl, and so, it was really cool. And so, yeah, I do fitness modeling. It's fun for me, especially since it's totally different environment than I feel like other commercials can be. Anytime I've done anything for sports modeling or fitness modeling, the shoot is always super cool. Just so everyone's fun, it's super cool, everyone's being active, and so I really appreciate that. Otherwise I wouldn't, but really my focus is being a fitness or movement coach. I like to call myself a movement coach. I feel like, I don't know, do you feel this way? Like when you tell people that you're a personal trainer, it's kind of like there's a stigma around that.
Yeah, there's always been sorts of stigmas about a trainer. It's like, you know, people are like, you know, you're just goofing around, you know, you don't take life seriously, or you must be making lots of money, or like there's just all these different like stereotypes to what a trainer or coach is. And so,
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's a challenge to break down those stereotypes.
Right. Right. And so I guess that's why I like to say I'm a movement coach more than anything, because um, I feel like there is that stigma of like, you know, hit training workouts and like how many calories you can burn. And
Right.
I am not a fitness snob. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel that, you know, I think people lose touch with the fact that it should be about connecting to your body, you know,
Yeah.
and with that, you will have the byproduct and the other results of getting in shape and looking good. But, you know, people want to look like athletes, but the athlete isn't thinking, oh, I want to look good. The athlete is thinking, I want to perform. They're
Right.
focused on the performance and how well they can, you know, create more power and connect to the body to really have more coordination and, you know, have more strength and more speed or whatnot. And I think if more people focus on those things versus how many calories can I burn and how good I can look in a bikini, they're gonna look good in a bikini and they're gonna lose weight, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. You know, like you move better and you feel better, and then you just do more stuff.
Right.
And not only do you do more stuff, but you do more stuff better. So the quality, you know, I would say like the quality of what you put in, you know, kind of reflects and makes the quality of what you get out, right? So, you know, whether it's consumption or actual like good quality movement, you know, that triggers, you know, a kind of radiance and a quality of being as well.
Mm-hmm. It does.
I mean, we could probably go on about stuff. I'm really happy that you came on and did this interview. This was really awesome. I'm glad we got a chance to like, you know, really talk about, you know, not only real life but fitness, and kind of give people a real authentic, you know, view of who you are as well. I think, you know, I've had the opportunity to meet you, and you know, I forget how long ago it is we connected on social media, but it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
And you know, but I think not everybody gets an opportunity to really get to know who the people they see on the other side of an Instagram video or a YouTube video is. And I think, you know, having an opportunity to have a real like sit down hour long, I mean, piece, and having people be able to jump in and engage and ask direct questions in the moment, you know, kind of gives an opportunity for people to really kind of feel closer, you know,
All right.
and have that bit of humanness to it.
Human. Yes. Yes. And if anyone's watching or if they're not able to jump on the live, feel free to DM me. I'm much quicker at returning DMs on Instagram. I'm kind of horrible at Facebook. I'm trying to get better at it, and I
She
will
is
have to
horrible
get
at Facebook.
right. I'm going to
I
get
never
better at
send you messages. I never send you messages on Facebook for that very reason.
it. Right. Like, oh, whoops, sorry, you sent me a message 2 weeks ago.
Oh, Rich sent me
But
a
I'm
message
getting
like a
better
month ago. Uh,
That's happened. That's really happened.
it has
And
really
like, they,
happened.
like the next message underneath is like, okay, never mind. And I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm really bad at Facebook.
I don't know how you keep up with messages on Instagram. I mean,
I don't know.
that
For some reason it's
is
easier for me.
it's oh God, they're like it's the amount of direct messages that come in on a regular basis is just huge. Um, I think comparatively, because obviously, you know, Facebook is generally your people who are a lot closer to you in general. So um, Instagram, I think we all have kind of like a broader audience and interaction with people.
Yeah, well, that's the really weird, interesting thing. I've met a lot of awesome people on Instagram, and then um, the people that I'm close to, I just text.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually old school. I'm one of those people that I prefer to talk on the phone. So my
Yeah.
friends get annoyed with me all the time. I'm the friend that calls, and then
Yeah.
they text me back after I call.
Like, yeah, what
I'd
did you
much
want?
rather talk on the phone. So
Like, yeah, what did you want? Like, you to pick up the phone. That's what I wanted you to
connection,
do.
people.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I used to like I think I've kind of trended towards like just texting because that's what people kind of do. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I used to be I think I held on to that I'll call you sort of thing for a lot longer than most people. But actually, I'm kind of getting back to that now, trying to call people a little bit more. Something that, you know, actually Aaron, um, we were talking. He's like, "Yeah, just pick up the phone and get on the phone." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, you're
Aaron
right.
got a good guy.
Yeah." So
Definitely this guy.
getting on the phone with people is definitely um, it's that one step closer. You know, it's that one like it's you get intonations, you get actual back and forth and not just this like I text that message and you're sitting there waiting like maybe they read it this way or that way. Maybe they got the wrong impression of what I was trying to say. So you don't get the immediate feedback um, that you would get in a conversation face to face or over the
That's
phone.
right. Everybody should be Facebooking live, basically.
Yes, that's why they gave it to us
Yep.
because they want
That's
us to
it.
Facebook
That's
Live.
it. We're all gonna be on Facebook Live, and that is the key to connection in the future.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us. You've been super helpful to me and inspiring to me and have helped make me a better mover. And I appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody else watching appreciates that as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You inspire me as well. I really love your post, and I love everything you're doing with Rachel, Rach PT,
Yeah,
in
that's
London.
awesome.
She's one of my best friends in London, and I love the challenges you guys are putting on. So thank you for having me,
Thank you.
and have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye.